Hey, you lot, back for some more news I see, and of course that is Swen backwards. On today's show we've got, this one's got a lemon on it, the government's coming for my brain, and this, nah, that's just my lunch. But first, a random liquid, that seems legit. According to BBC News, 4 Sri Lankan fishermen have died and another 2 are critically ill after consuming an unknown liquid from bottles they found whilst at sea. The sailors were said to be on a fishing trip when they retrieved the bottles around 320 nautical miles from Tangali, a town on the southern coast of the island. The Sri Lankan Navy told reporters that the fishermen had drunk from the bottles thinking that they contained alcohol. Not only that, Sunsatha Kawata told national news station Ade Dhyana that the fishermen had also distributed some of the bottles to other crews operating in the area, and that attempts to notify these other crews were being made. The Navy also told local media that the fisherman's boat was being towed back to shore by another vessel. Authorities are now investigating the contents of the bottles. Obviously not alcohol. I kind of feel like this is natural selection at play here. You shouldn't have to tell people not to drink liquid in bottles from the sea. I'm not saying I'm glad, I'm just saying that this lot can't chlorinate the gene pool anymore, so... A slippery escape of the swine kind. According to ABC News, a pet piglet has taken police on a frantic chase through a small Californian town, with body cam footage of the police pursuit going viral after being posted on social media. Several bystanders called Sebastopol's local police department last week to report the loose animal, which had been running in and out of the roadway. But wrangling the piglet proved to be very difficult, who described it as very fast and strong for an animal of its size. Officers, along with bystanders, helped chase the little pig multiple city blocks until it was finally cornered in a side yard. The pig, later I've ruined my voice doing pig noises. The pig, later identified as Pickles, was reunited with his mother at the scene, probably not biological. And officers Whitehall and Thomas used discretion and elected not to charge Pickles with resisting a peace officer. I was going to do a joke about bacon chasing bacon, but I thought better of myself. It would have been fun to go the whole hog, obviously, but perhaps I have standards now. Hogwash. I'll stop scraping the barrel when pigs fly. Excuse me, boss. We store all our drinks in the cleaning cupboard, right? According to ABC News again, health authorities are investigating after a Perth family claimed their 2 children were served insect repellent instead of juice at a western suburbs restaurant. It happened while Marcus and Michelle Lemon were out at dinner with their daughters Hannah and Olivia on Friday night. The 2 girls, aged 11 and 12, both ordered a cranberry juice, but were allegedly served a pink-coloured solution of citronella torch and lamp oil. The mother of the girls said, "My daughters just went to gulp it down and they both spat the cranberry juice out and said it's poisoned. I said, don't be silly, and took the glass and I went to gulp it down, safe, and then spat it out. The dad then ran to the front counter after smelling the liquid and demanded to see the bottle it came from. He claims a staff member initially refused, but then he took a bottle out the fridge and placed it under the counter. He then said, no, you need to give me the bottle. I need to see what it is. Mr. Lemon then took a picture of this bottle. Bite shield, plus bifenthrin. One of you 5 a day, that. The family then rushed to the hospital with the kids. Good call. And the mum further said, my daughter's stomachs were burning. Their fingers and hands were tingling. And they had a headache, but everyone was observed for a bit before being discharged. And a Department of Health spokesperson said it would support the local council, which is responsible for investigating the family's claims. Insect repellent. Probably not great for your insides, but mosquitoes won't be anywhere to be found. Similar to the effect an over-application of Versace blue jeans does on girls, I suppose. Or at least that's what my dad used to say to comfort me. Rip your trollies? Marks and Sparks are here to help. According to the BBC, Marks and Spencer's is launching a new service for clothing repairs and alterations. From August, customers will be able to book through a dedicated online hub and have their fixed items posted back to them within 7 to 10 days. The work will be carried out by Deliveroo-style repair startup Sojo and its in-house team of tailors, with prices starting at a reasonable £5. Marks and Spencer said its partnership with Sojo aimed to provide customers with ways to extend the life of their clothing. And Josephine Phillips, Sojo's founder and chief executive, said, the partnership marked an incredibly big step towards its mission of making clothes repairs more accessible, with Siobhan Gerhin, a retail expert and senior partner at consulting firm Roland Berger, saying that by partnering with smaller, independent repair firms, large brands can provide customers with convenient alterations without having to create the infrastructure for these services themselves. Sounds good then. Your favourite suit now doesn't have to be thrown out due to that dance floor related incident. Nice to see a company out there defend my right as an Englishman to do the cha-cha slide after 17 vodkas. Urine and bread? Well, that's the perfect aroma. According to Asia 1, this absolute lunatic, wanting to talk to women, hatched a plan to soil their clothes with a mixture of urine and flour so that he could have the opportunity to break the ice between them and him. On the 20th of June, Tan Jun Hao, a 31-year-old Malaysian man, was fined $1,200 after he pleaded guilty to using criminal force on one of the women. He had followed a 26-year-old woman as she was going up an escalator from Nickel Highway MRT station at around 8:30 p.m. on April the 9th. He then squirted the mixture, which he had earlier mixed in a small plastic bottle, on her dress as she was walking along a nearby overhead bridge. But instead of stopping to talk to the woman, he walked past her. She initially thought that the mixture was bird droppings due to its smell, and the stain grew bigger when she tried to wipe it off with tissue paper. Deputy Public Prosecutor Yap Jia Jun said the accused intended to squirt the mixture on the clothes of ladies, especially young ladies wearing dark-coloured bottoms, and then alert them that their clothes had been dirtied. He wanted to create opportunities for him to talk to these ladies. Tan also admitted that he'd done the same to two other unknown victims, and had also prepared red dye at home, which he intended to mix into the liquid. Oh nice, a permanent monthly confidence destruction. But court documents did not state how the authorities managed to track the man down. Urine and bread, eh? The scent that immediately makes women fall in love and drop their kecks. Probably why so many women in my local town take the opportunity to bang their 4 a.m. club pull in the alley of Greg's. I know a sausage roll gets my missus going every time. Excuse me, who ordered the nightmare fuel? Oh no! Jesus! According to Ars Technica, in a new study, researchers from the University of Tokyo, Harvard, and the International Research Center for Neurointelligence have unveiled a technique for creating lifelike robotic skin using living human cells. And as proof of concept, the team engineered a small robotic face, capable of smiling, covered entirely with a layer of pink living tissue. Can't stop looking at it. It's gonna help my dreams. The researchers note that using living skin tissue as a robot covering has benefits, as it's flexible enough to convey emotions and can potentially repair itself. So you ask, what sort of skin cells did the researchers use? They used commercially available human cells, purchasing what's called normal human dermal fibroblasts and normal human epidermal keratinocytes that came from either juvenile foreskin or different skin locations from adult donors by a company called Promo Cell. Foreskin. We're making stuff out of foreskin now. Non-smiling face, smiling face. Good luck with them monsters tonight, kids. A face made out of foreskin cells. Wow. I already know a few people who've had a face transplant then. A group of people I charmingly refer to as knobheads. Your comedy is trash. According to the BBC, waste and recycling staff in Edinburgh have voted to strike during the Edinburgh Fringe Festival over a pay dispute. The GMB and Unite unions said the current pay offer from Costler to local government workers fell significantly short of what they deserved. And Brian Robertson, Edinburgh's secretary for Unite, said it's about local government pay for the whole of Scotland, and further said these brave workers will be coming out on strike, losing wages, unless the Scottish Government comes to the table and we can negotiate with them and with Costler to get a decent pay rise for all local government workers in Scotland. Costler had tabled an offer which would have resulted in a 2.2% uplift from April the 1st, with a further 2% coming in from October the 1st. But Mr. Robertson said it was not a strong offer, and the decision to strike during festival season was absolutely necessary. He said, "We do not want to do it. We don't want to make a mess of the festival. We made a mess of it 2 years ago. We want the Scottish Government to come to the table before we have to do it." Why is it that strikes always happen during cool stuff and never at crap events? No one's ever striking at the Chelsea Flower Show or chaining themselves to railings during the Oxford-Cambridge boat race. I'd piss myself watching a bunch of hairy-arsed council workers trying to block off a river in a dinghy. They're coming for me! Oh no, wait, it's just capitalism. According to Business Insider, the Lake County Sheriff said last week that a man called Dennis Wynn admitted to shooting a Walmart drone with a 9mm pistol as it flew near his home in Florida. According to the arrest affidavit, Wynn told officers he had a prior experience with drones flying over his house and believed the aircraft to be surveilling him. And according to the affidavit, he then went inside, got his gun from a safe, came out and fired one shot at the drone, which was roughly 75 foot in the air. The sheriff's deputy then told him he had struck a Walmart drone. The defendant then looked in disbelief and questioned, "Really?" This was after a bullet hole was found in the payload area of the drone after it flew back to a nearby Walmart. The officer said that Wynn was taken into custody and faces 3 charges, including shooting at an aircraft. But the FAA doesn't distinguish between a small drone and a jumbo jet, and shooting at one is a felony, punishable by a fine and up to 20 years in prison. The tinfoil hat is probably strong with this one. The mad thing about people thinking that the government is spying on them is that they believe they're interested enough to be spied on. Dude, you're poor as and you sit at home on your blog talking about how vaccines turn the frogs gay. The government have bigger fish to fry. Like, which oil-producing country needs freedom next? Do the government have any experience in songwriting? According to The Guardian, a US federal judge has refused prosecutors' request to prohibit the maker of the 1990s rap classic Bling Bling from promoting and glorifying future gun violence / murder in songs and concerts while on supervised release from prison, saying such a restriction could violate his constitutional right to free speech. The artist, known as BG, must provide the government with copies of any songs he writes moving forward, ahead of their production or promotion. And if they are deemed to be inconsistent with his goals of rehabilitation, prosecutors could move to toughen the terms dictating his supervised release. But lots of music industry giants have condemned prosecutors' practices of using rap lyrics as evidence in US criminal courts, saying it disproportionately targets black artists. But prosecutors have generally not cared to halt the tactic. The government getting involved with rap music. That's like Mary Berry getting involved with motor racing. I mean, yeah, she can hold a steering wheel with a vice-like grip, but do you think that skin can take any more G-force? 21 to drink, 21 to get your bangers out? According to The Independent, on July the 1st, a new Florida law aimed to crack down on human trafficking took effect. Part of it called for those working at adult entertainment businesses to be at least 21 years old. The businesses include sex shops, adult bookstores, and strip clubs. This has led to a flurry of lawsuits, including one from Serenity Bushy, a 19-year-old dancer at a Florida club. She argues in her lawsuit that the law is in violation of her First Amendment rights to allow freedom of expression. The dancer has also said she and 8 other workers at her club lost their jobs because of the new bill. According to the lawsuit, Bushy has been a professional entertainer who regularly performed at Cafe Risque, mint name. As with similar performers around the state, Bushy earned her living through her art while providing entertainment for the benefit and enjoyment of her audience. But this doesn't just include dancers, but admin clerks, cooks, waitresses, and even DJs, according to the lawsuits. The lawsuits are seeking to overturn the law and ask for an unspecified amount of money. I would specify it, that would help you get that money. So you can die for America at 17, but only choose what you want to do with your body after 21. Nice. I do love the optimism countries have for prohibition. Get rid of booze. Doesn't work. War on drugs. Drugs win. Why don't Americans try and fight a war they can win? Like against obesity. Wait, this burrito doesn't have any salsa. Does burrito have salsa? According to woodtv.com, a wanted woman was arrested after police found illicit drugs concealed in Taco Bell wrappers and tortillas during a traffic stop in Tennessee last week. The Mount Juliet Police Department said in a statement posted on X that officers stopped a vehicle with a suspended license on Interstate 40 on Friday. During the stop, officers seized meth, LSD, THC, fentanyl-laced gummies, pills, and also marijuana. Mount Juliet police then posted images of the drugs wrapped like burritos. Not your average Taco Bell order, some legend at the department wrote. The 37-year-old woman from Nashville, who was also wanted in 3 counties, was arrested during that stop. Her charges include failure to appear in Sumner County Court, drug possession in Rutherford County, and failure to appear in Wilson County Court. And the police department further said, thanks to our diligent team, these dangerous drugs are off the streets. And this wanted individual is now behind bars. I think as punishment, she should have been made to eat the burrito. And if she managed to catch the dragon without her organs being simultaneously ripped from her body, and succumb into a heart rate of 2 million, we might have just created the next Deadpool. Apart from all that evidence, what else have you got to prove it? According to The Independent, a US Navy veteran who has lived in America for more than 7 decades says it now feels like his country doesn't want him after his citizenship was challenged by authorities in Tennessee. David O'Connor is locked in a battle with the state DMV, which has taken his license away after claiming he could not prove he was a US citizen. The 77-year-old has been a professional truck operator for the last 61 years and has held driver's licenses in New York, New Hampshire and Vermont, and he also got a license 8 years ago when he moved to Tennessee. But according to O'Connor, last month the state cancelled his license. He said, they told me I shouldn't have had the license in the first place because I couldn't prove that I was a citizen. Both of the man's parents are US citizens, but were briefly living in Canada where he was born, meaning that he has a Canadian birth certificate. And when the man went to the driver's service centre in McKinn County to renew his licence and get a real ID, the certificate was rejected. They said, no, that's no good. We shouldn't have given you the licence in the first place. They just cancelled my licence there and then. He now says he's being made to jump through multiple hoops to prove his citizenship. This was after, at the age of 17, O'Connor enlisted in the US Navy, where he served for 4 years as a sonar technician. And as well as his parents' US citizenship, his military discharge forms also list him as American. He also has a social security card, gets retirement benefits, and votes every year. But unfortunately, without approval and license from the state, the Navy veteran can no longer drive, cannot get on a plane, and won't be able to vote in the upcoming November elections. I don't agree with what's happened to this lad, so don't come for me in the comments, but he's 77 years old. My old granddad, God rest his soul, often tried to kill me by hugging the white line in the middle of the road. Are we 100% sure that this doesn't stop him killing a child he thought was a raccoon? How can we increase violent gun crime? According to the Tuscaloosa Thread, city officials said on Tuesday that an ammunition vending machine powered by artificial intelligence is now selling bullets in a Tuscaloosa grocery store and, importantly, is both real and legal. This was after City Council President Kip Tyner asked the Chief of Police and other municipal leaders to explain a vending machine selling people ammunition at the Fresh Value store on the corner of Skyland and McFarland Boulevards. Tyner said, I got some calls about ammunition being sold in grocery store vending machines. I thought it was a joke, but it's not. It was 100% not a joke either. The vending machine is one of the first unmanned vending machines installed by American Rounds, a company looking to revolutionise how ammunition for handguns, rifles and shotguns are sold. The Chief Operating Officer of Fresh Value said, we're super excited to offer what we think is the first ammo kiosk. We're always looking at ways to give our customers another reason to come visit our stores. Anything we can do to help them make their shopping trips easier. And based on the customer feedback we've gotten today, they're so excited about us having this ammo kiosk. But the council have said that they were surprised by the American Rounds machine and questioned its legality. But Police Chief Blankley and other city staff reported that the machines are legal and have been vetted by the ATF. With the mayor joking, it's what the founding fathers intended. Is this right? The most dangerous thing I've ever bought from a vending machine is a copy of the Sun newspaper. They should go the whole hog and start vending assault rifles then, if that's the case. Perhaps even move it to the cafeteria of a local school. I know the demand is there. And finally, art imitating life once again. According to AP News, a Delta flight from Detroit to Amsterdam was diverted to New York's Kennedy Airport on Wednesday after passengers were served spoiled food. A Delta spokesperson said the red-eye flight took off from Detroit at around 11 PM on Tuesday and landed in New York at 4 AM. This was after reports that a portion of the main cabin in-flight meal service was spoilt. And a spokesperson for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, which runs JFK Airport, said 14 of the plane's 277 passengers, as well as 10 crew members, were treated by medical personnel when the flight landed, and none of them required hospitalisation. But it was not clear how many people in total ate the spoiled food, and Delta said it would investigate the incident, with the spokesperson further saying this is not the service Delta is known for, and we sincerely apologise to our customers for the inconvenience and delay in their travels. The Port Authority also said passengers were being provided with hotel rooms and that all would be rebooked to continue on to their destinations. Surely you can't be serious. Imagine what would have happened if it affected both the pilots. And in this day and age, I'm not sure Delta would get away with forcing stewardesses to inflate the autopilot. They certainly wouldn't get away with asking if anyone spoke jive. And here are some honourable mentions that just didn't quite make the cut. Etsy is apparently banning sex toys. Not just sex toys either, mainly things that can be inserted. It seems like it's sort of fine if it meets Etsy's other guidelines. I can't say I've ever been on Etsy for explicit content, to be honest. Auto Trader, yeah. There's quite a few Italians I want to be inside. Another story is that a man has been jailed for 4 months for carrying a Legend of Zelda sword out and about in public. This one was defo up for a main story, then I found out the guy's had burglary charges and been in prison before and generally been a bad lad. There's no evidence he's even a Legends of Zelda fan. I think if it was the average person, they'd probably just get away with like a warning or something. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, at least according to this government. Another story is a couple got a load of grief after their wedding favours seemed to be cheap rubbish. To be fair, they were little jars of sea salt. I don't know if that's an Australian thing. Salt for the shrimp on the barbie. That's probably offensive. I'm not being funny, weddings cost thousands of pounds. If your guests don't like it, they can suck it. Who goes to a wedding to get presents anyway? Get a grip! Another story is thieves broke into Brussels Airport Customs warehouse and kind of Uno reversed them. They stole a cubic ton of cocaine cutting agent, shisha tobacco and fags generally. They don't know how anybody got in and they haven't arrested anyone. Inside job. Customs. Good at finding bad stuff, bad at keeping hold of it. And my final honourable mention. You know those self-lacing shoes that Nike brought out a few years ago? Yeah, they've discontinued the app for it. You now have to operate the tightening function manually like a peasant. Also, you won't be able to change the lighting. Nike obviously don't care. And to be fair, I don't think they ever have. Busy week this one, isn't it? Bloody hell. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you do so fancy. Also, if you think there's any news that we might have missed, please get in contact on the email in the description below, where this keyboard is that you can't see below. Please also check out our news sources down there in the description below, because I think that news is cool and you should think that news is cool, so that we can both think that news is cool. See you next time for another jam-packed news you might have missed. Stay gravy.